be Siva Kumar on phone line with us. Hello, sir. How are you doing? Good evening.
Yes, sir. I'm fine, madam. I'm fine, madam.
You're calling from?
Madurai.
Madurai. All right. So the information that you've given us, you're investing Canara Robeco small cap 3,000 rupees through SIP, and you've exited Axis long-term equity, and you've put that money in Axis equity hybrid as a lump sum.
Yes.
And that's showing negative return. And you want to understand whether you should be exiting this fund or you want to hold it, and you're a long-term investor. Is that right?
Yes, madam. Yes, madam. I am a long-term investor. I am ready to hold it, and even if I want, even if the specialist recommends to hold it for some more time or average it, I can do it.
Sure, sure. I just want to understand one thing. Now, since you were investing in Axis long-term equity, that is an ELSS fund, were you taking any tax benefits?
Yes, I am having Mira Asset emerging, Mira Asset tax saver and Tata India tax saver. Both the funds I am having.
Any goal attached to this investment?
I just want to create corpus. That is the reason I put the money. I have not spent that money. You put it in Access hybrid fund.
What's the amount of this corpus that you're looking at?
I put it around 2.5 lakh in that particular arm.
2.5 lakh is your lump sum that you've put, but what's the corpus that you want to accumulate after how many years?
Almost 5 years.
5 years, 5 crores? How much is it?
No. I Access long term, almost 2,000 rupees per month for more than 6 years. And still I'm holding 90,000 rupees in Axis long term. Though I come out of that lock-in period and use that money in Axis hybrid fund.
Okay, all right. So under what should be Mr. Sivakumar's strategy? He wants to hold this investment for more 5 years, Canara Robeco small cap, and now he has Axis hybrid where the lump sum is 2.5 lakh from Axis long-term equity.
So let me put a few points here. One is that, see, the Axis long-term investment, which is an ELSS fund, there was an SIP which was going in there, and as the lock-in has expired, a part of that money has been taken out and invested in the Axis hybrid fund. So the other thing here is that the investor has a lot of other funds also in the portfolio, because he has mentioned 2 other ELSS funds. There is the Canara Robeco small cap one. I presume there are other funds also in the portfolio. So we are not getting into the discussion as to whether the decision to invest in the hybrid fund was appropriate, whether it is suitable for the portfolio. We assume that it was suitable based on which the investment has been made. Now, the problem here which the investor is facing is that the investment is showing a negative rate of return since it has been put in. So let me highlight a couple of factors here which need to be taken into consideration. One is the nature of the fund. Even though the fund is an hybrid fund, what that means is that there is an equity element in there, there's a debt element in there. And the equity element in this particular fund, for example, plays a big role in determining the kind of returns that the fund gets, just because of the very nature of its size as well as the volatility in the equity markets. So it is very evident that because in the last 1.5 years, equity has not performed too well, this fund is showing a slightly negative return for the investor from the date of the investment. Now, the other point is with respect to making the actual investment. This is why we say that investors should normally invest whenever they're investing in an equity-oriented product where the equity portion is higher. They should look in for a regular and systematic investment. Otherwise, what happens is that the time period at which you make the lump sum investment, that becomes your entire cost and reference point. And anything that happens after that will have the impact on the investment. In this case, this is exactly what has happened. But since the investor is willing to wait for the long term, and according to me, that is the right approach. When you are investing in an equity-oriented product, one should wait for the fact that it should give it time for the investment to perform, because it is not always that immediately after you invest, you will find that the equity markets see an upturn. There could be quite a period of time for which the equity markets do not perform well. But for you to get the real benefit of returns from equity, it is imperative that you stay in there for a longer period of time. So the investors should continue holding the fund and wait for the cycle to turn, for things to improve, for him to actually see the results of this investment.
All right. Is there anything else do you want to ask Mr. Sivakumar?
Can I average it?
Sorry?
Can I average it NAV?
Okay. A part profit book? Okay.
No, I would not suggest averaging or buying more of the same, because if there is already investment going into other areas in the portfolio, just because a particular investment is showing a slightly negative return, there is no need for just putting in more money after this. You might as well wait and see how things improve.
All right, we move on. We have Anuj online with us. Hi, good evening, Anuj. How are you doing?
Good evening, I'm good.
All right, you have 60,000 per month to invest in SIP, and you want to know what kind of funds should be in your portfolio. The investment horizon is 30 to 32 years, and you want to step up your SIP 5% per year, right?
Correct, yes.
Okay, any amount of corpus that you want to accumulate after 32 years?
I had some calculation over the websites, and I'm willing to build this for the retirement corpus around 10 crore.
Around 10 crores. All right. Okay. So, Arnav, we can start with 60,000 per month now.
So, according to me, starting off with this kind of high amount is a very good thing, because considering the time period which is available, which is 30 to 32 years, which is like an entire lifetime ahead, there is no doubt that if this kind of investment is continued, the goal of 10 crore will be comfortably achieved. Not only comfortably achieved, it will be comfortably surpassed over this longer period of time. So having such a long-term goal, obviously, when it comes to the investing part, you have to understand that an equity-heavy approach is the right approach, because that is going to give you the benefit of compounding over this longer time period. The second thing is that the fact that he's willing to step up the investments is another good thing, because these kind of basic points which you built into your entire investment process, that is what helps you create wealth over a longer time period. The third thing is that now that one is clear that one has to have an equity-oriented approach, then what are the kind of funds that you need in the portfolio? So the idea should be that one should not try and experiment too much at the initial stage. Build a core portfolio. A core portfolio is a portfolio which forms the very basis of your entire investment strategy. Once that core portfolio is built, when you have extra amounts later on, at that point you can add more funds. But according to me, in the core portfolio, something like a large cap fund, a flexi cap, or mid cap, a small cap, and maybe one different style, which could be either the value investing style or a contra style, that might be the right approach to do this. If you're looking for funds into each of these categories, I mean, one should look for consistency over a longer period of time rather than trying to just go for a fund which has performed well recently. And some of the choices which I have for each of these categories is that through ICICI a blue chip fund for the large cap category, Parakparik Flexi Cap in the Flexi Cap category, Kotak Emerging Equities in the mid cap space, Nippon India Small Cap in the small cap space, and even SBI Contra in the contra space.
All right. We move on. Do we have Ramapriya on phone line with us? All right. So this is a question via email. And he's been investing in PGIM India Mid Cap Opportunity, Tata India Pharma and Healthcare, Kotak Small Cap, ICICI Pru Technology, DSP Natural Resources Energy Fund, and he's been doing this in November 2021. And he wants you to review his portfolio.
So if you look at it, see, one doesn't know what is the goal for which this investment is taking place, how long is the time period for which it is being invested. But we assume that since it's a pure equity portfolio, it's a long-term investment which is being made. But a few things which need to be considered when a portfolio is being analyzed. The first thing is the kind of diversification that one sees both in terms of the market caps as well as the styles of investing which is there in the portfolio. The other thing is also the kind of risk that is loaded onto the portfolio. If you look at this portfolio, it is a very high risk portfolio in the sense that all that you have here is among the equity market cap funds, you have a mid cap and a small cap fund, which are anyways highly volatile and they move quite a bit. The other thing is that all the other funds are sector and thematic funds. So this is not the way in which you build a core portfolio. The suggestion obviously would be that you take out the various funds which are from the sector and thematic areas and you deploy this into a large and a flexi cap fund so that the portfolio also has an element of large cap exposure to it so that there is stability which comes into the overall portfolio. So do not adopt just this kind of approach looking at the returns which these kinds of funds are generating, because your portfolio also needs diversification within itself and which can be done and some stability achieved through a slightly larger cap exposure.
I think with that query, it's a wrap for the day. Thank you so much, Arnab, being on the show and helping our viewers with their financial portfolio today. And in the end, the latest from Battleground Karnataka, with less than a week for polls, BJP leader, Karnataka Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai is in the middle of hectic campaigning. He addressed a mega rally at T. Narasipura in Mysore. With that, it's time to sign off, and I'm going to leave you with our WhatsApp number and email ID where we keep waiting for your portfolio related queries. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.